Hi there, welcome and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be showing you how to draft this strapless bustier pattern. So if this is something you're interested in, kindly keep watching. You want to have your pattern paper, your scissors, your measuring tape, your marker or your pen, and your curved ruler. First thing we're going to do is to draw a starting point, as we always do before we start drafting. So go ahead and draw a starting point about half an inch away from the beginning of your paper. Place your tape where you measured your half length, that's your shoulder to your waist measurement, and then mark it on the straight line. So I got 18 for this client. I'm just going to mark 18 inches on all the sides and then draw a straight line there. After drawing that, go ahead and label it half length. The next line we'll be drawing is our shoulder to nipple measurement, which is 12 inches, and then our shoulder to under bust measurement. So those two lines are also going to follow, and I'm just marking them together so we are faster with this tutorial. So mark your 12 inches. I'm marking the under bust now. This is 15 inches. So after marking it, go ahead, use your ruler to draw a straight line and label them separately so you don't get it mixed up. Label is your under bust point and your shoulder to nipple point. So now let's move up to the neckline, or let's call it the shoulder or the back. So for this client, she has a back length of 16 inches. 16 inches divided by 2 is 8 inches. So we're going to place our tape on 8 inches and mark it there. After marking it, I'm just going to mark another one where I think my armhole will stop, so that I know I'm drafting my armhole on exactly 8 inches. So for the armhole, we are mounted to 9 inches after measuring her armhole measurement, and then go ahead and draw a straight line from the shoulder to that armhole point. This is going to give us a new line, which is going to be our chest line. So on that point where the armhole stops, just go ahead and draw across the line. An armhole is not necessary for this tutorial, but I did it anyways. So I just came down by half an inch and just connected it to my proposed shoulder line. We won't be needing this, so yes, we can skip that part. The next thing we're going to do is to insert our armhole curve. So you get the midpoint and mark it, and then come in by half an inch. After doing that, you use your curved ruler to connect the first line and then complete it with your curve. Onto the darts, we are going to use our nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, which is 8 inches. By 2 is 4 inches. So from the half length all the way up to the chest line, mark 4 inches and then use your ruler to connect a straight line. The chest line we have here is going to be too exposing and the cleavage will be everywhere, so we're going to make use of 5 inches. You can make use of 6 inches, 7 inches, even go lower. It all depends on how deep you want it to be. And remember, it's a strapless top, so we don't want our boobs outside too much. So after marking your 6 inches, just go ahead and draw a straight line, and then we're going to extend that nipple to nipple point upwards to meet up that new chest line. Time for the dart, guys. So on the half length point, you want to go in by 1 inch on both sides. So you can go in with 1 inch only, you can go in with 1.5 inch. It all depends on how wide you want your dart to be. So I'm going to connect my 1 inch upwards to the under bust point with a straight line on both sides. Then after that, I'm going to use my curved ruler to connect from the under bust point to the shoulder to nipple point. So from this shoulder to nipple point, I came down by half an inch downwards, so that it's not going to give us that pointy effect. So I'm going to connect my dart to that point where I marked half inch downwards, so it doesn't get too pointy at the end of the day. So do the same thing on the other side as well. You can use your free hand to draw this curve. It mustn't be a perfect curve, but just make sure you're drawing a curve. So for the dart on the upper part, I'm going to be taking out the same amount of dart I took on the lower part. The only difference is I'll be taking out half inch on this side and 1.5 inch on this side. On the shoulder to nipple point, I'll be marking half inch upwards. Remember, we don't want it to be too pointy. So on this part, let's take out a half inch and then 1.5 inch to the left. This is because I don't want the upper part to look like it's about to join together on the upper. I don't know if you understand, but yes, so that's the point. So you connect your half inch I pointed out to the half inch you took out on top with a curve like this, and then do the same thing for the other side. You can use your free hand, please, so it's not compulsory you use a ruler. So after doing that, this is what we have. Bustier is already coming together. Next thing to do is to insert our bust measurement. So insert your body measurements. Remember to replace the darts that you took out while you were drafting. Like on the waistline, you can see we took out 2 inches, so please remember to replace that 2 inches. You can add the 2 inches to your measurements before you cut your paper. So place your waist measurement and replace it by 2 inches. Then connect the line on your waistline to that on your bust points, and that on your chest line. So remember to take out your side dart. We don't do that in this part, but I'm going to show you before the end of the front pattern cutting how to take out the side dart. So go ahead and cut out your pattern paper. This is the part of the tutorial where I forgot to mention in the first part before cutting out, so make sure you do this before you cut out your pattern. On the shoulder to nipple line, we are going to go down by 1 inch. So this line depends on how long. That's the difference between your front measurement and your back measurement. So this client's back measurement is shorter than the front by 1 inch. So on that note, we are going to be taking out 1 inch. In the front nipple to nipple point, I came forward by 1 inch as well and then connected the lines together, as you can see. So this is the line we'll be taking out. This portion of the bustier is the part we'll be taking out. So go ahead and use your scissors to cut it out to the point where you stopped connecting the line to. You are going to need to pull this up with a sellotape or a pin. So once you pull it up like this, you can hold it down with a sellotape or a pin. You notice that there is a difference. It's not really smooth by the edge, so this is why you need to do this before you cut out your pattern. But since you'll be adding your allowance, it's also fine. So I've held it down with a pin, and yes, we're good to go. We're basically done with the front bodies. It's time to head over to the back. So let's get right into it. For every pattern, you should always begin with your starting point. So for the back piece, we've drawn our starting point. Go ahead and mark your half length, which is 17 inches for the back, and then draw a straight line as well. Please, you want to make sure that you've added your 2 inches zipper allowance. I didn't add this to this until the end part. So the next step we're going to take is to insert our shoulder to nipple measurement. So for the back, you won't need your shoulder to under bust measurement, just your shoulder to nipple measurement. So go ahead and draw a straight line. Next to the shoulder part, you want to insert your shoulder of 8 inches and then draw your armhole at the back. So after marking the 8 inches, we are just cross-checking if it's the same thing on the lower part before we connect the lines together. So the armhole for the front is the same armhole depth for the back. The only difference is that we are not coming in by an extra inch for the armhole. So this is what I mean when I say you're not coming in by any half inch. You're just going to create your curve on that line, on that armhole line, because it's the back bodice. So for this back part, we don't need to create a shoulder line. We're just going to go ahead and start drafting the bodies because there's no need for a complete armhole. So you can take your front piece and just place it to where it stops, and then just mark the starting point for the armhole. You can turn it the other way as well and place the armhole to be equal with the bust point. As you can see, we fit it and then just go ahead and mark it. So that's the point we'll be using for the back. So for the back measurements, I'm going to come down to the chest line and just connect the lines together. You can give this neckline a straight neckline, whatever form of neckline, but I'll be slanting the back piece just to give it like this slant shape at the end of the day. So go ahead and slant that upper part. Next thing is to insert our body darts. So we're going to go ahead and insert 4 inches all the way from the half length to the shoulder to nipple line, to the chest line, to the topmost line. We're going to insert 4 inches all the way and then go ahead to draw a straight line. Now we have a straight line. The next thing is the dart. So go by the left and by the right by half an inch. You can use more than that, but for this we'll be using half an inch. So altogether we have 1 inch dart taken away. So just connect the line to the upper part like I did. You can come down to the chest line, so you don't necessarily have to draw it all the way to the upper part. So yeah, we're basically done. This is where you have to insert your body measurement. So always remember to insert including the dart that you took out, so you have sufficient fabric to be enough for the size of the person you're making the outfit for. So just insert your body measurement and replace the darts. Go ahead and connect the lines together. So we've come to the end of the back bodice. If you like, you can add your zipper allowance just before you cut it out. So I'm just going to go ahead and insert my zipper allowance and then just add my 2 inches and cut it out. You can do this on your pattern paper or your fabric, whichever one you decide to do is fine. After cutting it out, this is what we have. If you like, you can cut it in the middle, or you can just take out your darts on your fabric. So for mine, I'm just going to cut it out so I see that division on the upper part, so it looks more like there's going to be like a joining from the top to the bottom part of the back. So just go ahead and cut it out. So guys, we are basically done with this tutorial. If you found it helpful, please leave your comments, share to someone, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.